running a streaming broadcast over the internet.
You are live and you're recording.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is Friday, and we are going to do a financial wrap-up. We have my good friend, Michael Zuber. How are you today, Michael?
I'm doing very well, man. I look forward to hearing about your experience last week. You had the Navy SEALs kick your butt, I hear.
Yeah, it was pretty epic, actually. I learned a lot about teamwork and also pushing through. I would say the two biggest things was being able to really push through. They challenged us both physically and mentally. They were actually very kind. I thought they would be a little bit more in your face and confrontational, and it was the complete opposite.
Well, when you're a complete badass and you could take care of anybody in front of you, you could be kind. It really doesn't matter.
Honestly, these guys were complete badasses, but it was interesting. There was this whole kind of, we didn't talk about this off camera, but there was this whole like Zen warrior vibe, and they didn't talk about Zen. They didn't talk about Zen warrior, but the way that these guys run is you felt a sense of really connected brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
And you sense that these guys were working for you, not against you. So
yeah. Navy SEALs and all our elite warriors are a special breed of human being. We owe them a lot. And yeah, special shout out to all of our veterans. Thank you for all you've done for us. Greatly appreciated. Sorry.
No, you're so spot on. Thank you to our veteran community. Thank you we have a great, beautiful country, and you and I get to talk about economics and real estate. And that's because these warriors are out there on the front line protecting our freedom. Even when you don't hear about it in the news, these guys are out in foreign places, protecting democracy, protecting freedoms, protecting other countries, right? Most of the work they do now.
Yeah, freedom's not free, folks. Freedom is not free, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. So well said.
Big time, big time. Thank you for that, Michael. So I want to just get right into it. A lot going on. I'm talking to friends every day, and I'm going to bring up vaccines. I'm talking to friends of mine, just common citizens, not senior citizens. I'm talking to senior citizens as well. Everybody's got their first round and second round of vaccines. And then I just have regular people, guys that are civilians that are like, yeah, like my doctor hit me up and said, go get vaccinated. So every day I'm talking to everybody. They're getting vaccinated. What are you seeing, Michael, on that?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that are really happening for that, right? Again, what do I follow? One rental at a time does two things. It follows the consumer and cost of capital. This is all about the consumer, right? We've had 12, 14 months, depending on how you count it, of what I call dark days, right? We've been told to stay home. We've been told to stay 6 feet apart. We're being told to wear masks. We're essentially being told not to socialize. And that is not normal for us, at least in the United States. And I think what is going to happen as the vaccine numbers increase, as you either choose to or choose not to, it won't matter because it will be the masses that go that direction. I think we're going to have a wonderful summer. I think spring will be good. I think the summer will be great. And we will thankfully put these dark days behind us. That does mean that the economy is going to shift, right? We are going to have all of this pent up savings. A lot of it's going to be put to work. Is it going to be put for goods? I don't think so. Will it be put for experiences? Absolutely. Right. We have sacrificed a lot. We have done the hard work. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to become crazy. And again, personal experience, like 7 days ago, maybe 6 days ago, Olivia and I said, you know what? We're going to go treat ourselves to a 5-star vacation in July. We thought that was far enough so we can get all these things done. And we plunked down significant cash. We are going to get the hell out of Dodge in July. And we wanted to do it early so we could go get first class tickets and first class this and first class that, because we imagine in 6 weeks, all y'all are going to start buying. So we got cheap ass flights. We are going to disappear in the summer.
That's awesome. I love to hear that, and well-deserved, by the way. I know you've been obviously sacrificing. I know that you're taking great care of your wife, your family, and I know you've actually taken this lockdown very serious. And not only that, but you've supported a lot of people through this by increasing your volume of content, increasing the amount of streams and interviews and podcasts and all the things you do. So thank you for that, Michael. Well deserved.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ty.
I love it. So let's talk about, it's interesting too, because I went out for the first time this last week. I got to actually eat inside of a restaurant, and it was bizarre. Yeah, it was quite bizarre. It was 25% occupancy. So I was like, wait a minute, where are the people at and what's going on? But it was also interesting to just like, okay, it feels like we're starting to move to normalize. And I think you said something great before the pre-roll. And I want to get your take on what's going on in the economics, jobs, inflation, people going back to work, and then kind of being from that dark period to, you know, where are we at now? You mentioned a gray period. So kind of maybe elaborate on that.
Yeah. So if you watch the daily financial news or the weekly talks with Ty, right, I've talked about we're right at the cusp, right? If it was 6 months ago, I was telling you what, there's a little light, right? We're not quite sure if it's a car or a train, but you know, better days are ahead. 3 or 4 months ago, it's like, okay, clearly it's a light. Clearly we're getting to the end. We're like standing at the edge of the tunnel. So if you look up, we're still dark, right? You're still in the dark, but you can almost reach out and touch the light. So that's kind of where we are. So what does that mean? Well, first it means you got to get used to things changing. For example, rates, both interest rates, the 10-year, all of that stuff is going to change. So the interest rate is going to go up. What we have seen the last 14 months is the federal government has done everything they can to push rates lower. They are going to start releasing the pressure. They're going to start to buy less mortgage-backed securities. They're going to start to tighten up the requirements. So rates are going to float up. They're not going to spike to unaffordable levels, but they're not going to be abnormally low as well. So you need to be ready for that. We are seeing the job picture improve for the first time in 54 weeks. The new unemployment claims broke below 700,000. Again, that's not great. It's not a thing to really, in normal times, we would call that catastrophe. But folks, for the first time in 54 weeks, we did it. We should celebrate it. I think that trend accelerates. So I think it was 684. Maybe next week will be 662. And then, oh, by the way, 5 weeks from now, it'll break below 600. And again, times are getting better. Restaurants are opening. God damn it. Disneyland is freaking opening. They're talking about having, you know, fans at the Warrior Stadium for the first time. We are slowly getting back. It is that transition from dark to light. I call the gray period. And folks, you got to get ready for it because cost of capital won't be as cheap. I think inventory and real estate expand. So I think there's some things real estate investors and agents better get ready for, or the market will run you over.
But I love that. Thank you for that. And talking about being in that transition from a dark period to the light period. I would almost describe it too, like how we begin to normalize over the next period. 2 questions there that I want to tee up. The first one's easy, and then I want you to elaborate a little more. But do you see this as a 3 to 6 month cycle? Do you believe it to be a 12 to 18 month cycle to normalize? And then also, what do you think for the viewers, the people that are watching, for your audience, my audience, our communities, real estate agents, real estate brokers, loan officers, investors, first-time investors, seasoned investors. Do you see the time periods being a 3 to 6 month or a 12 to 18 month? And then also, what should they be doing to prepare? What should they be strategically planning to really capitalize on this market?
Yeah, there's a lot there. So I'm not sure I'll get to all of it. So you just keep asking the question. So kind of the first part of that is, it's hard to say, right? I don't know how long this kind of transition from dark to light is. I know it's there. I'm comfortable saying by the summer we'll be in the light, right? So I picked July, kind of the middle of the summer. By July, we will be in the light. We might be in the light in June. It might be late May. We might be that, you know, we may have 1 foot in the light, 1 foot in the dark, right? It's hard to say, but I can confidently say we are going to be in the light fully in July. And that just means Q2 we better than Q1, Q3 better than Q2. We're going to see an 8% GDP growth in the United States this year. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be probably the highest GDP of my lifetime, which is nearly 5 decades. So it is going to be a good year, and it only gets better after July. in my opinion. Now, real estate investors and real estate agents. A couple of things. Let's talk about agents and brokers first, right? What have we been doing the last 12 months, right? What we've really done the last 9 months or so, in my opinion, is we've been struggling for listings, right? We've had all these unbelievable demands. So all the focus has been going, hey, if I can get a listing, I throw it on the MLS or send it to my network. It has 5 offers by tomorrow. Life is good. So all the focus has been on listings. This is, I think, transitions probably by like September or October. So it'll be after the summer. And this will be a long term, right? We go from light to dark inside 3 or 4 months. What I think is going to happen for real estate agents and real estate brokers is we are going to see an explosion in supply. I think more supply is going to be coming from move up buyers. I think we're going to have frustrated landlords. I think we're going to have people in situations where they have to move for a job or whatever reason. I don't think we're going to have distressed sales, short sales, foreclosures in any great number. The timing doesn't line up, but we are going to have more listings. So what I would tell you is don't ignore your buyers, right? You have worked so hard. You have a long buyers list, but the last 9 months, it has all been about listings because that's how you got paid. Get a listing, get paid, get a listing, get paid. What I think is going to transition, what you might want to put some great care on is how do you keep your circle of buyers? Because I think what's going to happen is supply grows, their options are going to grow. And some of them will be so desperate because they made 5 offers and lost something. They will go to an open house and they will list with that agent inside the open house and forget that you've wasted 6 months with them. So you have to have great care. You have to nurture them. You have to let them know you are still there. You're going to support their journey as listings grow. So don't lose that relationship to that open house agent who just happened to be there. And then you're out of commission. That would be tragic. So that's what I really think. Again, I think for agents and brokers, it probably starts in September. The 90% focus on listings needs to go more 50-50 because your buyers will have more options and you probably have to work a little bit harder as well. So that's what I talk about for agents and brokers. Before I get to investors, does that raise any questions?
Yeah, so that actually that's great because this is something kind of a new question that pops up. I have a friend who's doing a couple of significant size developments, and they've seen material costs spike up, specifically lumber. And it depends on certain categories. Some categories it's 30 to 50%. Other categories it's like 300%.
Yeah,
in terms of spiking up. How do you really see that specific to California? Specific to the markets that we work in. How do you see that factoring into if we have normalized inventory and maybe a balance of now we have enough listings for enough buyers? Mm-hmm. Do we still see appreciation because the cost of building is so expensive, or just your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think lumber clearly is a short-term blip, right? The fact that a 2x4 or 4x4 pressure treated has gone up 300% is not normal. Right. I think a lot of that kind of normalizes going forward. I still think lumber goes up. It's just not triple digits, right? Could lumber be up when you average it out over 18 months, 20%? Sure. I think that's possible, right? Because I think there will be more development going on as we go forward. I think the current administration wants to promote home ownership and things of that nature. Plus they want an infrastructure bill, which will be competitive with raw material. So I think over 100% is not normal. I think that gets fixed with supply constraint issues. I think it gets fixed in the next 6 to 9 months is a timing. But yeah, I think there's going to be I think inflation is real. I don't think you can have the amount of money printing we've had, the amount of stimulus and likely more inflation in raw materials, which that's what lumber is. That's what a house is, for heaven's sakes. It's a collection of commodities and value add skill, right? Workers, employees to produce something. So yeah, I think we'll have some inflation. It won't be 100%, but it'll be 10, 15, 20% in lumber and the like.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And I completely agree with you on that. I see the same things. I also see that normalizing as well. Once the workforce gets back to work and our supply channels, everything begins to open up back to normal. So I thank you for that great answer. I think this will be the last question, and I want to tee it up I know in my day-to-day, just different groups that I'm a member of and masterminds and things, I always hear something, and it's not direct, it's not a direct question, but I always get this sense with some of the people asking questions around it. Is this a good time to buy a rental? Prices seem like they're so high, but yet interest rates are low. And there seems to be this confusion of, we've surpassed 2007 pricing, and oh my God, am I overpaying for it? And so, like, I want you to really address to the new investor, even the person that maybe has one or two assets,
Yeah.
or they've got a handful of rentals and they have the capital to go out and buy more, but there's a little bit of fear there. Maybe just a little bit of coaching on how they would navigate those waters, and just thought process behind, like, how do you decision make there?
Yeah. So I love leading by example, right? So I've been doing transactions every year for nearly 20 years. And I've done transactions this year and even 6 last year, right? So I'm still growing my portfolio. But here it is. Here's the deal. It takes work, right? I believe the only answer anyone has to answer is, what is an average deal in my market today? That's important. Why do I say that? Well, today in my market, it's 6%. I'm only in one market. I only have to learn one market. And my deal is, if I know average, I can do good or great deals, 7 or 8%. So that's all I buy. And it takes work. It's hard. It's very, very hard when there's no inventory, but not impossible. Back in 2010, when everybody was scared and doing nothing, my minimum was 15%. Right? So I'm in my market every day. I look at my market every day. I've done it every day for nearly 20 years. It is so empowering, enlightening to know what is going on. And I don't even live in my market, and I know what's going on better than most. So what I would tell the new investors is, do the work. And what I would say to kind of the middle of the conversation here, investors, I have good news for you. What have we struggled with lately? Inventory. Inventory coming September is going to be increasing. Think back to what I told agents and brokers. I said, they got to take care of you, because a lot of you have been burned. You've tried, you're tired, you're frustrated. You are likely going to snap the first opportunity that says yes, but you're going to be reacting to history and not the future. The history was no inventory and 40 offers and you can't get anything. It is going to transition. So keep doing the work, keep understanding what's happening. And when inventory doubles and then triples, you are going to have the ability to do some really, really good deals. I will do a deal today if it meets my minimum return. I expect to do a lot more deals tomorrow being September, October, December. But most new investors don't do the work, right? They're interested, but don't do the work. What I would tell someone today, if you had 40 grand like I had when I started, you need to spend the next 3 months looking every day at a small criteria, Ty, because you're in my course. And you need to be able to tell me at the end of 90 days what a great deal is. What's an average deal? And then it's going to be so enlightening, because you're going to get so many different options. So do a deal today if it meets your requirements, but do the work today, because tomorrow is going to be a lot more options and it's going to be fun. But be aware, interest rates will be higher. And the last thing to say about 07 and 08 versus 2021, stop looking at price. It's about payment. Yes, prices are at or near or even higher than 08. It doesn't matter. Payments are lower. And it's all about payment.
I love it. You're so consistent, because we always go back to interest rate, affordability index, price versus interest rate. That's the payment. That's how people buy, the American consumer. Mm-hmm. So spot on. One just follow-up question. I know we've talked a lot about the difference of not pursuing apartment deals, but more opportunity in single families. Do you still see that as your focus over the next, say, 6 to 12 months, that single families are still going to have more opportunity?
No, there's no question. I would say that's probably the next 3 years. And the reason I can say that with confidence, again, is I look every day. Yes, you can find markets where there are exceptions across the country, but in general, what single family has over multifamily today is a couple of things. First, fixed rate debt. That is amazing, right? You don't have to go back to the bank in 3, 5, or 7 or 10 years and recast the loan. Second, today, again, I'm in the market. I own both types. I have zero rent growth in apartments. I have amazing rent growth in houses. Next up, what do people want today? They want to leave. They want space. That is not going to change. That is something we've learned in this crisis. The last 18 months, we have learned we want space and we're willing to pay for it. Either that's a purchase or rent, right? They want out. They don't want to have a neighbor that they can touch in theory, right? They want to get away from people. They want a dog. They want a place for their kids. They want a place to work out, store their cars. That's not going to change. So I see single family homes being more valuable, both value, price, and rent, which is, I'm a landlord. I expect rents to go up for houses and I expect them to be flat or negative. Rents will be flat or negative in many apartment segments across the country. Not all. You will have rent growth in some, but if you're in a market and you're forecasting 5 to 7% rent growth, I got a surprise for you. It's probably not going to happen. I think there will be more negative rent growth than positive rent growth in apartments. And I say that as someone who owns apartments. And of course, what that means, if you have higher interest rates, lower rent in apartments, it means your NOI falls. And if that falls into a rising cap rate environment, ouch, your refi is going to be difficult. You are going to have to bring equity or cash to the table. So yeah, you better believe I'm only touching single family homes for the next 2 to 3 years.
I love it. I love the focus. So everybody, do yourself a favor. Start following Michael at One Rental at a Time. He's got a great book. It's on Amazon.
Yay!
You love it? You love it? So here's the thing is that everybody go out, buy the book on Amazon. It's a great read. It's an easy read because Michael, as you can tell, if you're following us, if you're following his content, you know he keeps it really simple, but he performs at a really high level. So do yourself a favor, follow Michael, buy the book. Also, Michael, if people want to learn more, I mean, I know that it's pennies. I know it's incredibly affordable. It's tremendous value for very low cost investment. Yeah. How much is the course?
So actually, I just released 2 versions of it. The one that there's over 1,000 students now is only $200. It's $199. It's remarkably cheap. But I've gotten so much requests for one-on-one mentoring, I had to finally break down and do a one-on-one mentoring version. It's $499 or $500. And frankly, I want people to be clear. I want everybody to buy the $199 course. I didn't want to do the mentoring one, but again, I do what people ask for. If nobody ever buys it, I'm okay with that. I only do 4 mentoring sessions a week, only from Sunday, 8 to 10 a.m. So again, get the $200 course, give it a shot, join the Facebook group that Ty's a part of, and let's just change our future.
Absolutely. So get involved with Michael. You can find him at One Rental at a Time. Follow him on YouTube. Buy the book. Thank you as always, Michael. It was a great show. Next week, we're going to talk about, I didn't get to ask you, but next week, I'm going to give a little teaser here. We're going to talk about pre-foreclosures. We're going to talk about notice of defaults. I've been tracking them and I've been working them. And there's a lot of myths. Some people talk about a tsunami. Some people talk about, oh my God, we're going to see foreclosures. We're going to talk next week about foreclosures. So I'm just going to tee that up, a little teaser for you. Next week, we'll talk about foreclosures. Thank you so much, Michael.
Exciting. Thanks, buddy.